Hey everyone, in today's video, we'll be going over what our impact is like on the environment and how we cause it. The results may be shocking to some, but don't worry. There are multiple things we can do to help prevent this problem from getting too out of hand. The negative environment impacts, such as air and water pollution, is caused by humans and the industrial development through driving, factories, and agricultural practices. What we do to our environment greatly impacts not just humans, but all animals and plants around us. Just like this cute turtle, we depend on industrial factories to produce products that are essential and make everyday tasks easier. Normally, we just notice the end product and pay no attention to the process and effects of creating it. Approximately 1.9 billion people drive registered and unregistered vehicles. The chemicals released by the motors pollute the air with carbon monoxide. However, we do not notice or see this as a big issue because driving is now a necessity. While environmental friendly vehicles such as Tesla's electric cars have been a trendy form of transportation, this is only a small percent of vehicles on the road that do not pollute the atmosphere. Carbon monoxide in the air is seen as smog. Smog is a brownish, foggy color and is mainly found in heavy populated cities such as Los Angeles, California, and Delhi, India. Inhaling smog can be very dangerous, especially to young children and the elderly. When inhaling the smog, it irritates the throat and lungs, causing you to cough. Inhaling enough of the smog can lead to respiratory and heart issues. You are damaging the lungs, and the lungs cannot get enough oxygen to supply your body, causing your heart to work harder as a result. Carbon monoxide, a type of greenhouse gas, is harmful to our atmosphere by creating an ozone layer. Studies have shown due to COVID-19 and the stay-at-home orders, there is a significant drop of carbon monoxide throughout the world. Countries like China and England have a noticeably lower level of carbon monoxide. The UK experiencing almost a 40% drop of air pollution due to the mandatory quarantine. This shows driving has a negative effect on the environment. An alternative that we can go towards would be going electric for that has no emission. The city providing more transportation opportunities by mass volume is another option, so not everyone is driving a vehicle. Factories pose another huge problem. Factories can be found worldwide in every major city, even in cities that are just starting out and their primary source of work is a factory. To the naked eye, factories are not seen as an issue because they make our cars, clothes, products that we use every single day. About 2/3 of the world's air pollutions come from factories. Like cars, they produce a ton of greenhouse gases, resulting in harmful diseases such as respiratory illness, lung cancer, and heart disease. Factories also pollute water sources. When factories produce their materials, there is always unwanted waste. The waste is full of chemicals and various harmful bacteria. This waste ends up dumped into waterways. The Clean Water Act tried to set a national goal to help keep the waterways clean. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has done the best it can to help regulate such acts, but there is an alarming rate of toxic materials that enter bodies of water. Other waste that the factories dump into water sources are heavy metals and radioactive material that affect wildlife in a huge way. Picture this. A fish dies because of chemical content in the water. Then a predator, rat, decides to have the fish for lunch. Now that the rat is contaminated with the radioactive particles, days pass and the rat dies from the poison. Suddenly, a bird comes along, eats the rat, and now the bird dies. This contamination continues throughout the food chain. Soil pollution can play a part in destroying the environment. Chemicals get into the soil from contaminating it. Then the soil becomes tainted with crops growing in it. We end up consuming the crops with dangerous chemicals and bacteria. There needs to be a stronger regulation to keep events like this from happening and stop illegal dumping of waste that are damaging to the environment. There are countless things we can do in our day-to-day lives to reduce the amount of pollution we put in the air. For starters, do not drive in motorized vehicles everywhere. Germany, with a very high adoption in carpooling, France, coming in second, is a great example of a country coming together to try and fix a major issue. All illegal dumping of waste that factories cause can be fixed by having proper waste disposal procedures. After strongly enforced regulations, fish and other wildlife will slowly come back to what was once a chemically filled area and now is a thriving ecosystem. Disposing recyclable goods is another good action to help prevent the demand of making materials from factories. Almost all plastics and metal products can be recycled and reused. This process will reduce the amount of air pollution that is being put into the atmosphere. We as human beings need to come together to address all the problems at hand to protect our planet from industrial development damage.